Valerie turned her head just enough to stop the rancid, oil-slicked water from flowing into her mouth. The street was filthy, even ignoring the blood and guts. Not that those would disgust her. Well, not the blood anyway, her being a vampire and all. Something had tasted nasty in that water. Nasty enough for her to care to move her head, in spite of the piercing pain that doing so sent through her body. That's what happens when your brother breaks practically every bone in your body and leaves you on the rain-drenched street. Utter and unbelievable pain. In fact, she was ready for the sun to come up, hoping it would hurry and get on with it. How much worse than what she was already feeling could the sun be? Death had never scared her. But pain? Even though she had always healed from it, she hated pain. And with this much pain, she was ready to die. All thanks to her brother, Donovan. She'd hoped he was gone, done with her, but she felt him next to her. She could smell his scent, even through the blood that had come streaming out of her broken nose. Donovan, that ass, kneeled down and moved her blood-clotted hair so that it wasn't blocking her view of him.
"See, Valerie? I can be nice when I want to."
He chuckled and cast a glance over his shoulder where, she imagined, one of his goons stood. She couldn't see from this angle. Probably Jean-Pierre, his right-hand vampire, and the one that had delivered the sucker punch that set her up for her brother's beatdown. He turned back to her.
"I just never care to be nice,"
he continued. He leaned a little closer, enough so that she could smell his breath, and whispered loudly,
"That's the difference between you and me."
The soldiers laughed, and she imagined ripping their pitiful, small-brained heads from their bodies. They'd ambushed her as she'd walked down the rainy street, lost in her thoughts. She would have been able to take them any other time. But today, something had changed. A loss of focus and direction. Through the fog of war, she'd seen the chaos, the death, the truth. If the lies had been a veil covering her eyes, today had ripped it from her face and exposed the ugliness that was the outside world. Now, the reality of her situation didn't sit right with her. Especially not when she'd turned to see one of her brother's men taking the life of a child. A defenseless child, dead, for no reason. And now, she couldn't do anything to stop the ruthless pricks. It sucked.
"You are a dick,"
she managed between pained breaths and choking on the sewer runoff that found its way into her mouth again. She coughed up and half vomited, pleased to see the scrunched-up expression on Donovan's face when some of the sewage spit meets vomit hit his shoes.
"Yes,"
he said, casually standing up and then wiping his shoe off on her pants.
"But this dick isn't the one dying in a deserted street, waiting for the clouds to break apart and have the unholy sun come down and kill her, is he?"
He sneered, then laughed when she tried to talk again and failed. She looked to the dark blue at the edge of the black sky, a hint of pink working its way up along with the rising sun, and struggled to say,
"Dad."
He barked a laugh.
"Dad? Dad is going to appreciate the truth if I ever get around to telling him. Why he dotes on your worthless, spineless ass, I don't know. Sure, he will be sad for maybe a day or two. But then he'll get over it and can continue to plan the eventual takeover of the New York City state by yours truly."
Donovan glared down at her, disdain heavy in his voice as he said,
"Not by a little whore who disgraces all vampires with her inability to take action."